Hi everyone. So today I want to talk again about food, and I promise to do some videos about something other than food in the future because this is a channel about my life in Kazakhstan, not just about food. But food is something that as a foreigner living overseas you have to deal with on a regular basis, and sometimes it can be a little bit annoying, and there are other things that really prove to be beneficial or positive. And so I want to talk about two things: the local food culture, some of the drawbacks and benefits there, and also the local food economy and some other drawbacks and benefits there. So let's talk about food culture in Kazakhstan. One of the big drawbacks and things that I definitely notice is the role of vegetables in Kazakh cooking and/or their availability in grocery stores and restaurants and so on. Much like the American South, where I originated, vegetables in Kazakhstan are often overcooked, boiled to death until they are mushy, have lost their nutritional value, and are essentially flavorless. But you can find some fresh vegetables as well. It's things like salads and the components of a salad in the average sort of cafe in America that you sort of miss in Kazakhstan. One of the counterpoints to this is meat. Meat is really important, and it's usually very well cooked here in Kazakhstan. But vegetables, there's nothing that even remotely approaches something like Panera in terms of salad quality here. One of the things that I really miss is fresh spinach. Now I can find it, but I can't find much of it, and I can't always find it in the same place. You can find frozen spinach. I don't think I've seen canned spinach, but fresh spinach is kind of hard to come by. If you order a salad in a restaurant, and there will be plenty of salads on the menu, it just lacks something that even what I would consider a sort of ordinary run-of-the-mill place like Panera would automatically have, with their sort of prefabricated recipes and prefabricated ingredients and so on. If you order a salad here, if it comes with tomatoes, they will be slightly deflated. It seems to me like they're the tomatoes that they were about to get rid of, the lowest quality of the tomatoes. It will be served with iceberg lettuce or something really similar. You might find arugula in some places. Fresh spinach, I have found a fresh spinach salad in a restaurant once, and it was a really expensive, at least by local standards, restaurant. So the salad will come out wilted. The vegetables in it will be kind of deflated and really sad looking. They won't necessarily serve it in a salad bowl. It will be served on a plate, so that the dressing, which was not very flavorful to begin with, has all run to the bottom. I'm running down salads here, but it's just true. The salads aren't very good, and it's like the chef sort of, when he saw that someone ordered a salad, he was so disappointed that he didn't bother to put a lot of effort into making it really good. And this vegetables and salad issue is reflected in other things too, like what I would call mid-grade Mexican food. Not really a thing here. And by mid-grade, I mean something between Taco Bell and authentic Mexican food. Mexican food in general isn't a thing here, but in just about any average-sized U.S. city, you can find something like a Chipotle, or perhaps of lesser quality, a Moe's, or something like this. Some kind of restaurant where you can go in, they put what look like at least fresh vegetables in a tortilla, wrap them up for you, and you eat them and get your fiber and nutrients and that kind of thing. Not going to find a restaurant like that here. I found one restaurant that could make a salad bowl sort of like this, but they didn't have spinach, which was a big sort of loss for me, and the ingredients weren't very flavorful or well prepared or seasoned or anything like this. So vegetables and salads, not something you find here. But the counterpoint to this in terms of local food culture And the reason why, perhaps, is that the local food culture is very adapted to the cold. So winter weather is probably a big inspiration for the local food. So you can find all kinds of soups. If you can imagine a soup, you can find it here. And it will be good. It will be tasty and delicious, even from a relatively cheap restaurant. Similarly, hot tea. I mean, I thought that in America that I really was sort of an aficionado of hot tea. But even the most basic restaurant in Kazakhstan has more than I could have imagined in terms of the availability of teas. And it's really good, really high quality, not excessively sweet, but the flavor is just, I don't even know how to describe it. I don't have the right words for it. And another thing about that shows that their food culture is really cold adapted is the fact that most foods have a lot of fat in them, and there's a preference for fatty foods. I'm told, and I don't really understand the science, that when it's really cold outside, you burn more calories, and so you need to eat more high-calorie foods, and that's why fatty foods are really popular locally. And presumably, I don't know, this sounds dubious to me, but the local people are more adapted to consuming fat in terms of their metabolism. But for those of us with Western European, North American bodies, that's not necessarily the case. And I really miss my salads. Now, the second thing that I want to talk about is the local sort of food economy and how it affects your day-to-day life. One of the big issues or drawbacks that I encounter on a regular basis is the reliability of menus and what's available in stores. So for instance, I said this about spinach earlier. I can find spinach, but I might not find it in the same store every week. And I might find it in one store one week and not one store the next week, and so on. And it's like that for a lot of food. So you go in one week, you find Diet Coke. The next week, you won't find it. The next 2 weeks, you won't find it. Maybe the next month, you won't find it. So you buy 2 or 3 whenever you go. And it's not just spinach and Diet Coke. It's things like cranberries or cheddar cheese, or really North American things like popcorn, obviously. But it's the unreliability of sales. Clearly, they have suppliers that can bring them these things. It's such other things like oat milk or almond milk or soy milk. You can find them, but you can't always find them at the same place every week. And it's almost like they're not using a computer to manage their inventory, which I suspect is part of the issue. Or maybe it's just some, long supply chain issue. I don't know. But the same issue exists at the restaurant level too. You go into a Kazakh restaurant and the menu will look like a novel, okay? They will promise you, it will have everything on the menu, and they promise that they can cook everything from pizza to spaghetti to local dishes to hamburgers, you name it. It's on the menu in a restaurant in Kazakhstan. But then when you order, if the original menu was a novel, then when you order, only a short story is really available. Chances are if you order something, they won't have one of it, or they won't have one food item or one drink item or something like this. I'll just give a really quick example. I was in a sort of coffee shop style place recently, and I wanted to order a little dessert to go with my coffee. The person who I was with ordered a kind of local cake. It reminds me of baklava, but it's not baklava. It's softer. Anyway, I thought I would be healthy, and I ordered some kind of yogurt granola thing, and it turns out they didn't have the yogurt granola thing. So I said, all right, I looked at the menu, and they had a cookie, and it was like a small cookie. So I said, all right, if I can't eat something that's relatively healthy, I'll go for a lower quantity of food. And they didn't have the cookie either, and they wanted to know if I could wait 30 minutes for them to cook the cookie. No, thank you. So I then went for my third choice, chocolate cake. And guess what? No chocolate cake. It turns out, out of 4 dessert items on the menu, they only had the local cake. And that's a pretty extreme example, I would say, but it's not that uncommon to go in and find that they don't have something that's on the menu. And it's much more common than I think it would be in restaurants in America. At least I don't remember having that kind of issue when I would eat out stateside. But sort of the upside to this, the upside to the local food economy, is that everything is so extremely cheap. It's been a while since I looked at food prices, honestly, to make really detailed and valid comparisons. But I remember when I told a friend of mine in America what the price of meat was, he was just floored that that meat could be so cheap. Certainly for staples and that kind of thing, they're readily available and extremely cheap by Western standards. I would say that you could eat fresh vegetables, at least those that are available locally, and good meat in a week, less than $25, maybe less than $20 if you were frugal and sort of shopped around. Now, I probably spend a little bit more than that because I eat some things that maybe aren't exactly readily available locally, but if you wanted to, you could certainly spend that much money per person per week, $25 or less, in terms of the amount of money that you spent on food. And I don't think that your health would suffer extremely for it. So there are, some sort of downsides that you experience on a regular basis, but they're balanced by upsides, and there's a reason for them too. It relates to the development of the economy, things like the weather and so on that I mentioned. This is day 381 of my time here in Kazakhstan. If you liked this video, please subscribe to the channel so that you see future videos, and keep watching.